As I said in the beginning, sustainability is a continuous journey. So it's time for you all to become part of this journey and create a better future for the coming generations. But this work cannot be done by any one sector alone. True power and impact is when the public and private sectors come together to tackle the most important challenges facing our region today. Now I would like to welcome on stage Walid Naji, Chief of Local Networks for United Nations Global Compact, and Melissa Powell, Chief of Staff for United Nations Global Compact, to highlight all the exciting new engagements, opportunities for companies in the Gulf looking to collaborate with the UN system to advance the SDGs. Welcome.
Slides on.
Yep.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we know it's a bit late, but we are very pleased to be here on behalf of our Executive Director, Lisa Kingo, who sincerely regrets she was not able to join us this afternoon. My colleague Melissa Powell and I appreciate the opportunity to share with you some of the updates on how the UN Global Compact is mobilizing companies to advance the SDGs, in particular how this takes place through partnerships with the UN system as a whole. Very simply, the UN Global Compact,
Yeah, maybe stand if you can.
I will work without the slides, they will work with me now. Very simply, the UN Global Compact has one vision, which is to mobilize a global movement of sustainable companies and stakeholders to create the world that we want. I want to give you a very high-level overview of how we approach this challenge and this opportunity today in order to really achieve our 2030 vision. We have seen here today and over the last few days being in Dubai that businesses are really tuning into the sustainable development agenda as the next frontier for building new markets and developing new solutions. This is a very critical momentum, and it is our job at the UN Global Compact to make sure that we encourage business the right way. What does this mean? It means that first, we need to ensure that companies are committed to principled business. Responsibility is a clear expectation for any business which wants to engage in the SDGs.
I can look for you.
Yeah, you still.
I can see them now.
That's great. For the Global Compact, we expect companies to be responsible, implement the 10 principles, and to find opportunities in implementing the SDGs. At this stage, if any company sitting in the room or that you know about is not a Global Compact signatories, we call on them to join our global movement. So how do we connect the dots? What is the role of the Global Compact in realizing the 2030 agenda? Let's summarize it in four simple terms. The Global Compact is the connector. The Global Compact is a platform that brings together many different networks, platforms, and initiatives around the world to scale sustainable market solutions everywhere. We are a catalyst for partnerships across regions and sectors, in particular through the UN system, which Melissa will be talking about in a few minutes. We are a committer. Basically, we call on companies to commit to responsible business practices by sending a commitment from the CEO of the company to the Secretary General of the United Nations, committing to adhering and implementing the 10 principles of the Global Compact, and also by committing to submitting an annual report on how the companies have progressed in implementation of the 10 principles and the Sustainable Development Goals. We are also the communicator. We see that it is very critical and it is very important for us to help translate the 2030 agenda to make it relevant for the businesses. Our Making Global Goals Local Business campaign is one example of this kind of advocacy and marketing. Number 4, we are the co-creator. For example, we are collaborating with so many different organizations to advance SDG solutions everywhere. We launched several new SDG initiatives last month in September, which I will be speaking about in a moment. As you can see, the Sustainable Development Goals are the core of the UN Global Compact mission, and it is reflected in the Global Compact 2020 strategy, which we are rolling out as of beginning of next year. We have begun an exciting process to realign our issue platforms and programs of leadership to maximize our ability to drive progress on the Sustainable Development Goals. We will develop an SDG leadership blueprint that will set a high bar for companies wanting to be sustainability leaders, and will offer a very clear guidance on how business can best achieve the SDGs while creating market success. Underpinning these offerings are 4 thematic focus areas, including healthy, sustainable lifestyle, low carbon development, diversity, and empowering vulnerable migrants and refugees. It's back. Let me introduce to you very briefly 4 cross-cutting platforms that we have launched last September during the United Nations General Assembly Week. Global Solutions Platform, the catalyzation of financial innovations, breakthrough innovations, and leadership reporting. These next generation platforms were all co-developed with other global sustainability organizations with the aim of redirecting financial flows, fostering breakthrough innovations, identifying global solutions, and enhancing corporate reporting on the SDGs. The platforms build very much on 2 key resources that we have already developed to help jumpstart businesses' action on the Sustainable Development Goals. First is the SDG Compass, which provides guidance to companies on how they can align their strategies, as well as measure and manage their contributions to the implementation and realization of the Sustainable Development Goals. And the second one is the Global Opportunity Report, which is an annual product which aims to demonstrate how global sustainability challenges and risks can be turned into business opportunities. Now, I'm very pleased to pass over to my colleague, Melissa, who will be talking about our role in partnerships.
Great, thanks, Walid. Thanks, everyone. I know it's late in the day, but as we've heard many times over the course of today, it's all about partnerships at the end of the day. And I know that many of you, when you think of the UN, maybe you don't think necessarily of an active partner. Maybe you think of the bureaucracy of the UN. But I'm here to tell you it's not your grandfather's UN anymore. The UN has changed significantly over the past 15 years. Now, every part of the UN, UNDP, UNICEF, UNHCR, every part of the UN has dedicated professionals to working with the private sector in partnership. We've seen a growth of really, really tremendous opportunities where the UN is leveraging its unique skills, its convening power, working with the private sector and the technologies and innovation that the private sector can bring to really see some real impact on the ground. And so we feel in the Global Compact, we're in a very unique position. We're part of the UN system. We have Global Compact staff members in New York where we're funded by the private sector, but we also have an important leg outside the UN system with our thousands and thousands of companies around the world, together with civil society, labor organizations. So we really are walking the talk when it comes to a public-private collaboration, and we're really seeing the impact of that. So we're here to tell you that the Global Compact can help you navigate the sometimes maze of the UN that it may appear to the private sector on the outside. We're able to help you find potential partners within the UN and to actually create projects that can have real impact on the ground. I wanted to, oh, here we go. I wanted to share with you there's about 6 ways that I think we see that the Global Compact can support you in your partnership journey. The first is around local engagement. We have over 85 Global Compact local networks at the country level in all regions of the world. We have a fantastic network here in the UAE as well. And so it's really through our local networks that we can contextualize the Global Compact and bring to life the Global Compact in the country where, which helps to actually operationalize it on the ground and bring it to life in the local context. We also convene a number of different advocacy events and networking opportunities, like together here we've been able to do with the Pearl Initiative. We're very thankful for our collaboration with Pearl. And we really feel like it's sometimes that face-to-face connection that really helps you build the relationships you need to take forward your partnership work. We also do some significant work around measuring and reporting on impact. At the end of the day, it's important that we can really show the kind of impact on the ground that happens when we partner, and we need to get better at being able to measure that impact to encourage others to engage in similar partnerships. And we're doing some important work in that area. We also, as Waleed was mentioning, we develop a number of resources to help companies on their journey. Waleed was mentioning the SDG Compass, but we also have a number of partnership tools and resources that take companies through step-by-step how to create a partnership, how to find the right partners, how to develop an appropriate partnership that's going to meet the needs of the objective that you're trying to solve. So we have about over 200 different resources on our website that can help guide you in your journey. We also do a lot of work around integrity. We think that's a really important element of our work, not only as the Global Compact and the integrity we use among the participants that are in the Global Compact, but also supporting the UN system in its own integrity efforts when the UN is partnering with business, making sure that the companies it partners with are also living up to its own values and principles. And that also means in its own procurement. At the end of the day, the UN itself is an organization that also needs to walk the talk of living the values. And so we're supporting the UN in that area as well. And finally, we do a lot of online partnership matchmaking. We, together with our colleagues across the UN, developed a website, business.un.org, which can help you find potential partners, find out the needs of the UN and where your business interests might align, and actually be able to take action and find partners. So I'll just end by saying that I think there's a number of different resources that you can have access to. We have a number of colleagues who work in a range of areas, whether you're interested in women's empowerment or climate change, water, anti-corruption. You want to find the right partners within the UN that can help you bring to life your commitment to corporate sustainability. We're here to help you. Thanks so much. So, I don't know if, I mean, I hesitate to ask if there's any questions at this time, but if there's, I don't know if our organizers want to call it a day at this point, or? I mean, we're available after for questions. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Is Carla around? Another Carla wanted to say a few words before everyone leaves. There she is. Can you give Carla a round of applause? I swear she's worked so hard to bring this event to life. So I'm going to leave the floor to Carla. I want to thank Bedr for the opportunity to be here. It was an absolute honor. I want to thank you all for being so awesome, and thank you so much for your patience, and I look forward to seeing you all again next year. Much love.
Thank you so much, everyone. It's a real honor to be able to close the event today. As you can imagine, there has been a lot of work that has gone into this, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to host this and to share ideas and to share experiences and to talk about what really is important here and the discussion that has happened on stage, but also the discussion that has happened by the coffee table and over coffee and over lunch, and these connections that are made at events like this. and from the discussions I've had with the speakers and the discussions that I've had with all of you, I feel such inspiration and optimism that we will take what has been discussed here today and really put it into action, and to be really reflecting on what this means for us as individuals and us as business leaders here today. So I'm delighted to announce that we have 164 people that have signed up to the pledge over the course of the day, which really seems to be some action that has been taken already. So that makes me extremely happy as we sign off from this event. I have a few thank yous I really must make. So firstly, thank you very much to our hardworking MC, who has led us through the day. I would like to thank Mr. Badajaffa and all of the Board of Governors that have made this possible as well today. I would like to thank our partners, the United Nations Global Compact. It's very important for me to thank our forum partners and also the Pearl Initiative partner companies, which really are the basis of the Pearl Initiative. We're able to achieve both at events like this as well as then generally as a part of the work that we do. And finally, I must thank the initiative team. They have worked absolutely tirelessly behind the scenes to then make all of this happen. So I just couldn't thank you all enough. Thank you so very much. Okay, so thank you again for all your ideas and inspiration and the connections, and I look forward to connecting with you all and for this just to be the very start. So thank you very much.